Hey guys, welcome back to another episode of Whitty's Gear Reviews. Some of you that have been watching my channel may recognize the box, and let's get started with another full tang knife review. If you're not familiar with the knife, the box that you see here, this is a box that usually comes with GTK9 knives. Now, I do want to say that this was sent to me by the good people over at GTK9. But I have been reviewing their knives on my own, buying them myself. For the first 6 knives that I've got from this company, I bought myself. The last 2 were sent to me. So this would be my 8th GTK9 knife. That being said, this is a good company, guys. Their knives are made well, and it's hard to beat the prices. I have taken several of their knives out and do not have a problem with it. Actually, my last video I did, so go back in time and look, you'll see that I even added a link to a guy that hammers this thing through oak wood, ash wood, just beats this knife up, does all the things that I'm not planning on doing with it for the video. I will take it out in the woods and I'll try it out there on normal usage, but I'm not trying to break the knife. I'm not going to shove the tip into a log and then hammer it out, right? Go back to my last video if you want to see somebody do it, or just look up GTK9 knives testing, and you can watch a lot of guys beat the living snot out of these things, but that's not what I do, so I'm not going to do that here. I'll leave it up to those guys. But let's jump into what we have here. And if you notice, not all of GTK9 knives are big, but a lot of them are. They're beefy knives. There's a lot of steel here, so in my opinion, the cost doesn't reflect the size of the knife. Now, let's get into, there's a lot going on here, but let's get into the knife itself and take a look at it. And then we'll kind of go into the sheath. All right, so you got a good look at that. Let's get the sheath, go over it, and get it out of the way. So you've got a really nice Kydex sheath. It's well made. This one, unlike a lot of the other ones comes with a tech lock. This one does not. It does have this spring clip, belt clip, or I guess it's, yeah, like a spring belt clip. And then you have this, which when I first saw it, I thought it was a leg strap, but it seems more of like a crossbody strap. So you could wear it across your chest, or, yeah, because see the angle? It's made to go up. So it's not like it's a belt, you know, put it around your waist. It's made to go up, so I would imagine this is a chest or a shoulder strap, something like that. In my description, it doesn't even show this. This just came in my bag. It doesn't show it on the Amazon description when I looked at it. It's Velcroed on, and it's removable, guys. So if you don't want that part, you can take it off, and then you got your standard sheath. Let's look at the lockup real quick in the sheath. Usually bigger knives, there is a little bit of play. There is nothing. That's solid in that case. For a big knife, I'm surprised there's no rattle. The only little bump you was when I hit the table. Good lockup in the Kydex sheath. Now, just an up-close look at the hardware they use on these things. They're all recessed, so you don't feel any of the hardware in any of the places where your hands are going to fit. It's got 3 different places where you could put lanyards. Depending on the way you want to set up your knife. And just look at the design, the pattern on the handle. But large satin stonewash blade. Nice finger choil up front. So you can kind of get to the front of this knife. Still has plenty of handle. Nice drop point blade. And a lot of these knives, I was actually pretty surprised on how sharp the bigger knives are. Because some of these knives just aren't very sharp coming out of some bigger knives. Not necessarily GTK9s, but I mean, for a big knife, and this is a super thin piece of paper that is a packing slip, but pretty sharp for a big knife. And if you wanted to, you could hone that even sharper. But just like all of them, this is the GTK9. So all of GTK9's knives are GTK in a number. This is the GTK9. Real comfortable in the hand. You don't really have any jimping. You just have that little bit of a thumb rest there. But yeah, guys, I really like these knives. I have tested them. I put them through real use, and I have not had a problem with any of the ones that I own. Basically, they reached out to me and said, "Hey, you've been reviewing our knives. We'll send you one." I said, "Fantastic." I actually saw this knife, and I requested it, and I was surprised. The guy's like, "Hey, man, all right, cool. I'll send it to you." I requested it on Monday, and it was here Tuesday, which I think that's amazing by this company. But you can see the texture on the handle. These are FRN handles. Anybody that knows that's seen any of the other videos, FRN is fiberglass reinforced nylon, which is supposed to be better than G10 for many characteristics. For its slip resistance, it's a lot more impervious to heat, so it doesn't expand and contract. And it's very, very durable and should last the lifetime of the knife. Especially with the bigger hardware that they use on these knives. And I mean, they're just the fit and finish. It is perfectly smooth where it should be across all of this knife. You just see the finish. Good finish through the holes. The lanyard holes. Nice finish on the edge. You can see. Nice finish on the edge of the grind on the blade. And this one's made out of the DC53 steel, which is a step above D2. And the only logoing you have on the whole thing is a little GT. And then above that, you have, I don't know if my KII, GTKII. That's it. So from a distance, not a lot of logoing. Just a really solid knife. Really solid knife company. They're great. They've been great to work with to this point, guys. But let's get into what the knife would cost, right? Let's get into the size, and then we'll go into the cost. Because this is a pretty big knife. So overall, from tip to tail, you're looking at 12.9 inches. That is almost 13 inches tip to tail. You're looking at a blade length of 6.8, which is almost a 7-inch blade with a 6.1 inch handle. And of course, we're full tang with a slight pommel on the back. I wouldn't really call it more of a hammer pommel, but there is a pommel on the back that you could use if you needed to. This blade thickness on this guy it's hard to tell because the way it goes there, but you can kind of look at the thickness here. 5 millimeter. And the knife by itself overall weighs in at 17.4 ounces. So she's not, your extreme light carry knife. This is a throw it in your backpack if you're going, hiking or anything like that, where you're not through hiking, where you're not trying to be ultralight. Me, a lot of times I carry a mil-spec backpack out when I do my hiking camping trips. I'm not hiking 30 miles, right? I'm not through hiking. I am hiking out to a designated area or an area that I find along the way, usually 2+ miles away from my car. right? I'm going to park. I'm going to walk out in the woods, find me a nice little area, set up camp, and I'm going to stay there as long as I took vacation for, right? I'll stay out in the woods as long as I can, but typically, if I take 5 days off, I'll stay out in the woods 4 out of 5 days. And this is a good knife for that. If you don't want to bring a hatchet, a saw, and you're not building, you know, a lot of times I bring a small trekking pole tent. Something easy to throw up, you know, has a door on the front, small vent in the back, vent on the front, and it's just a small tent that's easy to backpack. It's not an ultralight tent, guys. I'm not carrying Dyneema and all that. I kind of military spec camp, if that's a thing, right? I bushwhack more than I do ultralight REI style camping, right? And this would be something that I could take with me. I could keep it in my backpack, wear it on my hip. Actually, the knife that I'm bringing for my camping trip coming up, which I'll show you the setup, because there's a couple things that I'm bringing on this bag that's going to be new that I haven't tried out yet. And it might be hard to get it all in the picture, but this is the bag that I'm bringing. It's just a small overall bag, but there's the knife. This is a GTK9 knife. And this is the one I'm bringing for this trip, because I'm bringing a hatchet, but this is going to be my big all-purpose knife that I'm bringing with me. Which is also, like I said, a GTK9 knife. I really like this knife, guys. Go back and watch my last GTK9 video. If you like the way the blade looked, you need to check this knife out. Now, this is my new one, and I might take it to my next trip, which should be later in the late fall, early winter. But I can't say enough about the company. So far, they have been great to work with. Now that we know the size, that's probably what everybody's thinking. This is probably one of the more expensive GTK9 knives that I've received and that they sell, that I've seen. This knife is typically $49.99, which anybody knows anything about full-size knives, full tang, this thickness, the quality FRN, with the Kydex sheath, you can do the math and start kind of calculating the materials, and you could come up with a price. $49.99 right now, 20% off coupon takes it down to $39.99. I have seen knives not made out of the same material as this, a lot smaller, nowhere near as tough, without a Kydex sheath, sitting in Walmart for $59. I can tell you this knife, in my opinion, is a better knife than some of the knives you're going to get at Walmart for $59, right? And they're $59.88, whatever that means. $59.88, or you could get this, and most of the time you order it today, it'll come tomorrow. Anyways, guys, let me know your thoughts on the GTK9. What do you like? What do you dislike? I know a lot of people just stay away. They don't understand the brand. A lot of people have done reviews on them. There are a lot of good reviews on them. But some people are like, oh, it's a Chinese-made knife. That it is. I've never said it's not. But there's cheap Chinese-made knives and cheap Chinese-made products. And then there's some that actually, this is a brand. This isn't just a company that makes this knife and sells it to 57 other companies have stamped their name on it. GTKII is a company that makes knives, and this is one of their models. They've been around for a long time. I'm going on probably 2 years with GTKII knives. And how did I get my first one? Before I had a YouTube channel, I was sitting in my living room watching a YouTube review on a GTKII knife, and it's a reputable knife guy on YouTube, and he said he loved it, price was perfect, fit and finish was great, and it's a sleeper of a knife. And he had an extra 10% off, and I got on there, and the knife that he had that day was like $27. I got it for like $22 or something like that. And I'm like, yeah, let me see. I got the knife, I still have the knife, and I love the knife. That's why I started buying more of them, and I will promise you, even if GTK9 does not send me another knife, I will buy. I want their whole collection. I can buy 1 through 40. Because that's all I've seen right now, I think, is GTK1 up to 40. I got a long way to go, but I like their knives. I collect knives. They're all different. They all look different, and I like that. I believe this company has a knife for everybody. They have smaller knives. They have bigger knives. This isn't their biggest knife by no means. I've got one. Go back and look on that video. It's a little bit bigger, I think, than this one, or pretty close to the same size. But I do have a two-handed, which could be considered a two-handed GTK9 knife. I don't like. Oh, I knocked everything down on my shelf. I don't want to talk about nothing without actually showing it. This is that knife. This is also a GTK9, and it's more of a katana style knife, and this one is an Oz 10. I've got big hands, and you can see, let me do it this way. I can get almost 2 full hands on that knife, and in comparison, if it'll fit on my screen here, it may not be as thick, but it's quite a bit longer. But another great knife, also with a Kydex sheath, with a tech lock. I'm telling y'all, if you haven't got one, get one. Get a cheaper one. Matter of fact, get one of their $20 knives. Give it a shot, and then let me know what you think. Because I'll go back to them and say, hey, these are some things you might could change. Maybe these are some styles that you should kind of go after. I don't know. It doesn't hurt my feelings none to tell them what I think about their products. But another reason I like them is they just send me the knife. Say, hey, just put the Amazon link. We appreciate it. There is no, hey, say this, say that, do this, do that. I told them in the very beginning, as long as I can do an honest review of your product and tell people what I honestly think. If I thought this knife was junk, these handles were loose, this blade was crap and not sharp, it had a, curve in the blade, Kydex sheath had no lockup, says Kydex, but it's made out of some PVC, I would tell you all that. The only thing, being honest, on this knife that I would probably change, and I'm going to, is this. I'm not a fan of this type of belt clip, and you can take it off. So I'm going to take it off, and most likely I'll replace it with a tech lock or something like that. Just my preference. If you like these, then this is for you. If you don't, then it's easily the 4 screws, pop it off, grab you a tech lock. It's going to hook to one side or the other. And if you get a tech lock, it may be ambidextrous if you put a tech lock on there. But anyways, guys, that's all I have today. Do me a favor. Hit that like, share, subscribe button. Leave me a comment. Comments are very important in the algorithm. Even if you comment, just don't put nothing. You don't have to say nothing special. Just put GTK9 with a thumbs up. That helps. Anyways, guys, that's all we get. 3 ways still to support the channel. Whitty's Gear, buy me a coffee, memberships. If you feel like helping out, those are 3 great ways to do it. Check out your GTK9 knives, guys. I like them. I know you probably will too if you just put one in your hand. Love y'all. See you on the next one.